else can. Yeah, my bad, everybody. Had some technical difficulties. Had to get back on the air, waiting for Big Game James. We were just getting to get rolling. Um, and we'll probably go a little bit over tonight, but we were talking a little bit of Cowboys mini camp, and he had some really good notes he heard from Kyle Humans. He's been on the show sometime last year, so he's a good source, actually a great source to talk about Cowboy stuff. So while we wait for Big Game James, man, I appreciate everybody and your patience. If you can get in here for some fan Q&A, that would be great. Like I said, just waiting on Big Game James. Send him the link. And tonight we will be talking about boxing. We'll be talking about Steph Curry and his goatness or whatnot. Appreciate everybody for tuning back in. As we had some technical difficulties, it's been like that. Been like that over here for a little bit, but it's all good. What's going on, Antoine 804? Appreciate you, man. Hey, and it's actually funny when I sent you that comment. Appreciating you for the feedback. That's exactly when I accidentally clicked it out, and then it wouldn't let me come back in. So it's all good. Let me see. I sent my guy. But yeah, at this time, man, feel free. People coming in, feel free. Send some Q&A. Right now, we're talking a little bit of the Cowboys minicamp, and some of the things that we've heard, some of the notes. I actually did a video not too long ago about the Cowboys minicamp, and some of the things that I've been hearing about Tolbert doing pretty well. A Big Game James was kind of getting into hearing that Gallup was on the cords and stuff like that. So that's good news. I mean, no need to really rush him back or anything like that. Antoine 804 says boxing needs to come back like it was back in the day. And actually, it's actually funny, this young crop of talent that's out there now. Reminds me a lot of back in the day. We'll get into it, but I mean, around the 135 division, guys are starting to pick it up. The welterweight division, you're about to get the biggest super fight that we've had since Mayweather Pacquiao. So DC for life. That's right. Absolutely. But yeah, back to camp, man. Hearing that Ferguson was coming in, stepping in, getting some first team reps. He was just getting into McGovern. And we know that McGovern right now is fighting for his life when it comes to a roster spot. And if he's not on the start lineup, he's going to be your first answer to being a swing guard or the backup center, which isn't a bad thing. The Cowboys love having Swiss Army knives when it comes to linemen and players. They love having functionality at other positions. So a guy that we haven't really talked too much about lately, TJ Vasher, I haven't heard anything lately from him as far as this last week. But one thing that I do know is that the Cowboys, Mike McCarthy, got fined for the camp being too physical. And I think that it's the second year in a row, and the Cowboys lost some OTA practices from that. So they had to cut this camp short, and they're just going to, go straight to minicamp. And Big Game James was telling me that, make sure that he got this link again. Okay, here he come right here. Bad. My bad. We back up now, man.
Let's do it.
Sometimes technical difficulties get the best of us, but you know what? Sometimes we got to get up off that mat, man.
Yeah, it's all good, dog.
Yeah. So you were saying that you were saying that Kyle was giving you some notes. Kyle Humans, right?
Yeah, Kyle Humans, he was just giving us a few notes, just basically breaking some things down for us. And like I said, those 4 rookies that I mentioned, like the first 4 picks, I believe, I just feel like they're going to have an impact. And, I believe Jalen Tolbert is going to be somebody who's going to show early. Sam Williams, I believe he's a guy that'll be sneaky. I think the Tyler Smith thing is really something I really want to see for myself, because I feel like he can eventually be the left tackle instead of the left guard. And I feel like we'll see what happens with that experiment. And, we'll see what happens with this Jay Ferguson thing with Dalton Schultz, So They say Dak is leaner, more bendy. I'm excited to see that in training camp. You got a lot of guys out right now, so they said the defense is head to offense. We already talked about that DMV. That I thought that was going to be anyway. So we'll
Yeah.
just see. I didn't think it was nothing too crazy that it was mini camp. I don't feel like it was nothing that jumped out for anybody, not in my opinion.
Well, apparently we were too physical, so it
Uh,
might have been more like practice than usual. You know what I'm saying?
I'm cool with that. Hey, if they want to find a team for being physical, that's what they need. I mean, I don't know if they're just trying to be over physical. Remember how when Jason Garrett left, everybody said Jason Garrett don't take chances. Jason Garrett don't take chances. So then now you got Mike McCarthy. As soon as he came in, he going for every fourth down in America. You know what I mean? So I don't know if this is a situation where they said we weren't tough enough, and now he's over toughing. So we'll see. We'll see about that. I think that's kind of funny in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that it's funny too. And to be honest with you, I like Mike McCarthy. I like
Mm-hmm.
Mike McCarthy a lot, man. I like how they always saying, let Russ cook. Man, let Mike cook and get out the way and let that man cook.
It ain't
And
gonna happen though. You know it.
yeah, I know, absolutely. Yeah. So TJ Vasher, man, I've been hearing some good things about him. I hadn't heard anything over the past week. Was there any more notes from him as far as the mini camp goes?
That he was really turning up. I mean, guys are out. CD Lamb, we know Michael Gallup. I think Noah Brown. A lot of the main guys were injured. So Simi Fehoko, Vasher, those guys were going to get extra reps. So we knew about his length. We knew about the size and what he brought to the table from that. I asked the question. I think Jay Tuck had mentioned. Vasher could be a guy, but I mentioned that, if you got guaranteed CD Lamb, Noah Brown. I mean, I'm gonna start from the top. CD Lamb. You have Michael Gallup. Jalen Tolbert is pushing the look. He might be a number 3 right now. Who knows? He might be a number 2 right now. We don't know. James Washington, I feel like he'll still be in the fold. I don't feel like they'll let him go. They love Noah Brown. And so my thing is, where's Vasher's role going to be? Because if it's a game day role, where is he going to really play? Is he just going to be a red zone threat? That's what I'm saying. So I'm interested to see how it's going to play out, because I think he's going to be a fight, because a lot of those undrafted rookies are going to give him a push. And he's really got to show. So great, I guess, good showing in minicamp, but he's got to really transfer that to training camp this year and stay healthy as well.
But you know what? When I think about him, right? If you look at his body type, he's very similar to the guys that Mike McCarthy used to like in Green Bay, and one of them just got traded to the Raiders. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they might see something in him where it's just like that kid might be the next Devontae or something like that. I don't necessarily see it in his route running, but how tall he is, he seems to have very strong hands. He can catch the ball, can contest it. They might see something in him that maybe they're like, Noah, you know what, bro? See you later. And they might keep him.
But he's got to be able to play special teams if that happens, because the main reason why Noah Brown
Yeah,
has that role with the Cowboys and why they keep bringing him is because he's a multifaceted player, and they like that. He's just not one guy that can catch the ball. He's a guy that can block for you, and the biggest thing, he can play special teams. And if they were to let go of a Noah Brown, he would have to be a major force in special teams, and I don't know if that's his role right now.
absolutely. And then you look at guys like, because to me, I kind of like the situation now because these guys can't not bring it. You know what I'm saying? They have to bring it every day because a lot of those guys are middle of the pack. And what are you going to do to separate yourself?
Right.
You know?
Well, I mean, like I said, this is his time. Training camp, mini camp is all good, but training camp is when the pads are really on and it's real live action. So we'll see. And like I said, training camp and preseason games. Preseason games are going to be huge, DMV, for these guys. They really have to show some of the preseason. I suspect a lot of these guys are going to get a lot of tick, kind of like those young rookies did last year with Michael Parsons. Well, maybe not. He was taking out Parsons a little bit, but those guys were getting some tick. I expect these guys to get a lot of work. They're probably going to rest these vets because they want to see what these rookies can do, because they're going to be a major part of this whole team. That's what the Cowboys lifeline is: young players and rookies.
Yeah, absolutely. Am I frozen on your end? Can you still hear
Yep.
me pretty good?
You froze. You froze.
Okay, gotcha. Hold on real fast. I don't know what the heck is going on tonight, but you know what, man? I got to keep my zen. I got to keep it calm.
Uh-huh.
Got to
Uh-huh.
keep it
I feel
calm.
you. Yeah.
I'm gonna enter the studio real fast.
I've had that too, dog. I'm gonna keep it real. I've had it to where sometimes I'll be like, "Hey, look, dog, we're gonna have to just do this another day."
Nah, we ain't gonna, hey, look, we ain't gonna do that. We ain't
Oh,
gonna
I'm
do
just
that.
saying.
Yeah, we gonna get it in, bro. We gonna get it in because it's long overdue. What I'm gonna have to do is just shut this thing down. I'm not gonna shut the studio down. I ain't gonna do that again.
Hmm.
All right, so all right, we good? Can you hear me?
Hmm. Yep, I hear you.
All right, we good. All right, perfect. So yeah, man. Back to camp, man. My bad. My bad,
You good?
everybody. We good. All right, perfect, perfect, perfect. So we waiting on Tony Weeks, but was there anything else that we talked? We haven't talked about anything defensively. Have you heard anything from anybody defensively other than Sam Williams? I know that he recorded about 4 sacks.
I mean, yeah, that's on Matt Waletsko, who's a rookie. I don't. I mean, I posted it, put the eyeballs up, but I'm not jumping up and down by a rookie who's from a small school. That should already be happening. I think the thing that I'm looking, like I said, I'm going to be looking at is this swing tackle position. That's what I'm really going to be looking at in the training camp. Will they go out and get a veteran? If they don't like what they see, because right now it's going to be the young guys, DMV, that are going to be the swing tackles, either going to be a Tyler Smith or it's going to be a Waletsko. I don't think Waletsko is ready. I know what they're talking about his potential, and I think he does have a lot of potential. But I don't think he's going to be ready yet, and I think he's going to be overmatched. And I don't feel like you're putting a rookie as a swing tackle right now. I don't think you put your trust into that, especially
Yeah,
when you got Dak Prescott, who's had injuries and he's being healthy for a first time in a few years. You know what I'm saying? So we don't want that problem again. And then even with Tyler Smith, he's still a rookie as well. So I wonder if they're going to address that. Maybe there's still money left out there that they can spend. So I'm going to be looking at that at training camp and see if they address that and the linebacker position that we talked about with Anthony Barr. Will they tackle that? Because the linebacker depth is thin as well.
yeah, absolutely, man. I was just about to say that. Like Anthony Barr is an issue, and I was talking to an Eagles fan about this earlier. I was like, I felt like our defense got stronger, which I still feel that way. But if there was an area to really attack our defense, I feel like linebacker would be it. Defensive line, I feel like we're probably as deep as we can be. There's going to be so much competition on the interior and on the edge. It's not even funny. Linebacker, we're a little thin. We could add some bodies. Maybe they're possibly looking at some of these offensive linemen getting cut from other teams, possibly to help address that swing tackle position. Hopefully, because I'm with you. I don't necessarily know that I trust Matt Willetsko because from what we've been hearing, every time I hear about him, he's been getting beat by somebody, whether it's Micah Parsons or whether it's Sam Williams. Now you know that there's going to be a learning curve, and you know that he was drafted a little bit later, but you know what I'm saying, like we still got to be able to watch out for that, like you said. Um, my guy Joe, my man Joe Rod. Thoughts on Jerry BSing on Jimmy
What's good?
and the Ring Hall of Fame?
I
I
think I
mean,
might be froze. Okay, I'm good.
no, you good, you good, you good.
Um, okay, I'm good. I mean, I mean, we already know that's a curse. I mean, I believe it's a curse. I believe that's part of the reason why there's not Dallas has failures, and another part of it is Stephen Jones now, in my opinion. But I don't know, man. That front office dog. I just get tired of talking about them guys, man. It's just kind of frustrating with them guys up top because that way, and it just feels like just going to be a long time, man.
You kind of freezing a little bit now, or is it on my end? Can you see
Am
me?
I freezing? Yeah, I
Yeah, a
see
little
it.
bit, a little bit, a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I think
buffering.
you're good now. Just a little bit, just a little bit.
I'm good.
Yeah. All right, hold on real fast. Let me see something, my guy.
Okay.
See if I'm connected to this Wi-Fi. All right, can you guys see me now? We good? Wait for big games to come back in. My bad, y'all. Oh, it's been a rough night, but we gonna get through it, man. We gonna get through it. I promise y'all. Let me see. Look at some of the questions real fast. Hey, can you check and see if it's still live? Because it says that it's still live. What's going on, Gina? Yeah. Okay, we good. Okay, Alec Lindstrom or lefty center thoughts? To be honest with you, man, I don't have too many thoughts. If they really trust him to do so, then I'm all right with it. What's going on, Gina? The Reaper. What's going on, Chuck? How y'all doing out there, man? I'm just going through the comments real fast. Just trying to get my guy Big James back up. Man, look, y'all, it's been a tough night, man. I promise y'all. But one thing I will, we kind of touched on camp a little bit. So the Cowboys have been pretty secretive about things. And probably more so because of how physical things have been. Um, and now you see why. You know, they had to cut it short, and now we're headed back to Cali in July, which could be a good thing. You know what I'm saying? Because guys get to get healthy, guys get to know what they're doing a lot more, and we'll be able to go full tilt when we're there. One thing that I kind of wanted to touch on before Tony Weeks jumps on is Steph Curry, man, because the Warriors, they won their title last night, and we're gonna kind of segue into basketball a little bit. The Warriors, they won their title last night. Steph Curry's fourth championship, Draymond Green's fourth championship, Klay Thompson's fourth championship. So they have four championships in the last 8 years, which is considered still a dynasty within the Warriors. And we all know that Steph Curry has been the face of the NBA for quite some time, man. And so a lot of people, and what I've been hearing before what happened last night was, if Steph Curry wins this ring, is he above LeBron James? Is he in the top 10 conversation of all time? And talked about it with a couple of people on Twitter, and I really just want to hear the comments in the comment section as well. For me, I think it's a little rich right now to put him in the top 10. Although I've never seen a player like him. As far as little guards go, I think that he's the best of all time. He's definitely surpassed being the best shooter of all time. It's not even a question at all. You know, not even a question at all. Um, but when we talk about greatness, right? Like, I saw something this morning where they said, should he be past Magic Johnson? And I'm like, Magic Johnson? I feel like if we're talking about surpassing Magic Johnson, it shouldn't be me making a case to put Steph there. I feel like either you pass Magic Johnson or you pass Magic Johnson. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think there should be he might be better than Magic. Like, if I got to think like that, like, you just have to think about how or what Magic meant to the league at that time. You know? So that's how I feel about that, man. And I have a special guest here. Um, Mr. Tony Weeks is in the green room, so I'm going to add him, and hopefully Big Game James can make his way back. What's going on, Mr. Weeks? How are you doing, Mr.
I'm doing
Legendary?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Pretty good, man. We struggling through a Friday night with my stream, and we're having some technical difficulties, but we're making it through. And I'm glad you got my email.
Oh,
So
absolutely. No problem. No worries. Thank you for having me.
no problem. And my guy, Big Game James, is coming in as well. He's also a fan as well.
All right.
Yeah.
Can you
So
hear me?
Oh
yes,
yeah,
sir.
absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so normally we talk a lot of Cowboys talk, and I was talking a little bit of basketball, but I'm like, you know what? We got the legendary Mr. Tony Weeks on here. You just came in from the Boxing Hall of Fame. How was that from your vantage point?
Oh, it was great. I mean, it was a tremendous event. You had three great classes going in at the same time. And of course, because of the pandemic. But it was jam packed. Everybody was there, and it was great to see all the people who were inducted, and rightfully so.
Yeah. So I have a question for you because I remember the last time you were on here and we asked you who was the most difficult person to referee, and you said it was Bernard Hopkins. Did you get an opportunity to tell him that while he was there?
Oh, absolutely. I told, and like I said, Bernard made me a better referee. Um, yeah, Bernard, he's an old school type of fighter and knows all the tricks in the book, and he's going to really test you as a referee. And um, having gone through him, I feel I could referee anybody. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. A big game. You got something for him?
Yeah, just kind of bouncing off that because Bernard Hopkins is one of my favorites. Obviously, I was telling DMV that. Give me a reason. One of the main reasons why he's so difficult to really ref as a fighter. Really kind of break down. Is his style an orthodox style? What does he really bring to really say this is going to be a difficult ref? Ref this. I'm trying to get it out. You got me all nervous over here. You know what I'm saying? But
You got it.
what is it? What's it really make so difficult to really rep him?
Well, like I said, Bernard's style. He's old school type fighter, and like I say, he knows all the tricks in the book. Yeah, he knows how to do certain things when the referee's on the blind side. And his style. He's a rough, rugged type style, and he really goes at it. And you really have to really be aware of his style and what he does, particularly, like I say, on the opposite side of where the referee is. And just overall, he's just one of those rare fighters that is natural talent, and his style really it will really test you as a referee.
Okay. I just want to kind of ask something else. I mean, obviously, you're a Hall of Fame ref. You've seen it all. I mean, some of the boxing matches that you've been through have been tremendous. But looking from the outside in, what do you think really makes a really good ref, like a Hall of Fame type ref? Like, what would we look from the outside and say this guy is constantly getting these top matches, and why? What really stands out to really say this is the ref that we want because of what?
Well, first of all, I hope to be in the Hall of Fame one of these days.
I'm
But
wishing it on you.
thank you.
We all know you're a shoe in. We all know.
We'll see. But no, you have to have some natural instincts, and of course knowledge of the rules and regulations, and knowing how to apply those rules and regulations. You have to understand what you're getting into, first of all. And when you become a referee, you're going to be susceptible to all kinds of criticism and what have you.
Mhm.
And a good referee, or I might say a great referee, is one who can handle all those obstacles and still be visible if you know what I mean,
Mhm.
um, and allow the fighters to fight. Uh, it's it, it's a very people asking me how do I feel when I'm in there, and it's a strange mixture of excitement and being scared and be apprehensive, because anything can happen in there. And but just looking at a good referee, who the one who can control the fight, and particularly a tough fight, one who allows the fighters to fight, and one who can uh, uh, yeah, have the rules and regulations and know when and where to apply them, and not being over assertive. You don't want that. It's not about the referee; it's about the fighters. So you don't want a particular referee interjecting all the time in the fight. Stopping it every 2 or 3 seconds, because there's some violations in it that happen. But as long as it doesn't interfere with the flow of the fight, you let it go on. But yeah, it's one thing that Richard Steele told me. He says, boxing is seen around the world, but there's a small inner circle of very knowledgeable people who know boxing, and those ones who are going to recognize you. And it is so true, because they understand the game and they understand what's happening in that ring and the difficulty of a job of a referee.
Definitely.
Yeah, gotcha. So you had an opportunity, because I know last time we talked to you, you were dealing with an injury. You got a chance to get back in there, and I think that your first match was a championship fight amongst the ladies, right?
I'm sorry, was that?
It was a ladies championship fight, right?
No, it, I did. Well, actually, I did a couple of fights, but championship fights. But this one was in Panama. I don't know if this was on uh, um, TV here in the States and stuff. But that was my first time getting back into the ring doing a couple of WBA title fights in Panama.
And how did that feel? Was it like riding a bike? You just with the blood flowing, or were you a little bit nervous? Like, can you talk about not being active and then just getting back in there?
Oh yeah, of course. Again, I was nervous and thinking about the knee and how would it react, and because I'm a mover in there, I like to move and adjust with the fighters. Excuse me, but yeah, no, it was just like riding a bike. I felt like I never left. Um, of course, when you're out for a period of time, you have to get your timing down and things of those nature. But no, I mean, I was always a natural at it, and so yeah, it was just a matter of time, just getting back into the swing of things and getting your timing down.
Gotcha. And one thing that I did notice too was at the Boxing Hall of Fame, Floyd spoke. Was Floyd very difficult to ref? Because I know a lot of times people complained about the elbows and all of that stuff when coming in. Was he a difficult fighter to ref? Because I know he was a bit crafty as well.
Yeah, he has his, he knows certain things to do in the in the ring, like any other experienced fighter. But no, he's not really difficult to referee. Um, he's a very fast mover in the ring, so you really have to be on your toes and stuff. But no, I never really had any problems with Floyd in terms of refereeing him. No, he's not a Bernard Hopkins.
Well, you actually did the Maidana fight. Was Maidana difficult? Because I know that was a very Floyd and Maidana getting in there, a lot of elbows, headbutts, and stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, Maidana was an awkward type fighter, and fearless, nothing to lose really. So that's a formula for a dangerous type fighter, and yeah, it was just one of those rough type fights that's the only way that Maidana could win or stay competitive in the fight, because it was clear that when Floyd had Maidana in the middle of the ring, it was no contest. But when he had him up against, when Maidana had Floyd up against the ropes, that was his advantage.
Well, and one follow-up question before I go back to Big Game James, but could language barrier be an issue as well? Like, do you speak multiple languages, or do some of those guys use that to their advantage?
I mean, it can be, but boxing is universal, and people understand stop, box, break, and they, they understand certain things that what you're doing in there, and especially here in Vegas, we have a lot of fighters. Excuse me, a lot of inspectors in the corner that can speak certain languages. So we're pretty tight with, and I speak a little bit in the ring.
Okay, gotcha. Big game. You got something?
Yeah, I wanted to know, is there any particular fights? You mentioned Bernard Hopkins, Floyd Mayweather. I mean, the names go on and on. But has there been any particular fighters that you have actually got excited for to actually call that fight? Like, were you like, okay, I'm really excited to really get in the ring on this particular fight? Has there been any guys that you said, yes, I want this one, and I'm excited to jump in the ring to ref this one?
You know what? I'm excited about all of them. You
Okay.
know, because first of all, I respect all fighters who have the courage to get in that ring, because they're laying the ultimate on the line. And it's like they say, you don't play boxing. I mean, of course, you have your mega fights here in Vegas and around the world, and it can be a little different approach. But no, I'm excited just to get back into the ring. Period.
Okay. Well, you just said that, the mega fights might be a different approach. How does that feeling when you're in that ring, when you got all these people? I mean, I understand boxing's all the same, but when you got all these people, how does it feel? Like the pressure, does it kind of weigh on you? Are you thinking about those type of things when you're in this fight? Because this is going to be in the news, this is going to be on TV. Do you feel like a different type of approach when you jump in that ring with that type of a
Well,
mega fight?
well, first of all, there's pressure. Period. And um, yeah, it's the way, and this is what I try to teach the young referees coming up, is the way you approach the fight. It's still the same fight. Whether it's a 4 rounder, uh, uh, 10 rounder, mega fight, it's still the same fight. They're throwing the same punches. They're doing the same thing, and that's what you have to have mentally in there. Then that you don't really get caught up in all the hoopla of the event. That's for the
Mm-hmm.
fans.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I understand uh, what I'm getting into. I understand, the magnitude of the fight, and but I've always trained myself from day one that every fight was a championship fight. So
Mm-hmm.
I was always there mentally.
Okay.
Yeah, gotcha. And speaking of which, when you're talking about training young referees, there was a fight on the undercard of the fight last week, the Berlanga card, where a fighter was pretty much knocked senseless. I forget. I think it was Vargas, and he wasn't standing up straight when he got up, and the referee allowed him to continue. Um, what's like the protocol for when somebody is like out on their feet, or they're knocked down and they get up? I know some refs they tap the glove to see if they're going to stand up straight or anything like that. Is that really just the referee's call as to how they test, or is there a specific way that they're supposed to do it?
Well, yeah, there's we're trained. First of all, we're trained to see and understand what's happening in there, and what to look for in the fighter. If a fighter gets hit, and the way he goes down, if he goes flat and lifeless, he's out. If he goes down and he's kind of struggling to get up, he's really hurt. If he goes down and he have his faculties and he pops right back to his feet, you look in his eyes, you look in his motor skills. Like, hey, yeah, come to me. And in some states, you have the referee will have the fighter move to the left or right. Yeah, all these things are just evaluating that fight after if after they get knocked down or they're in serious trouble. So yeah, as a referee, we stay on top of because the first rule is safety of the fighters. Nothing comes above that.
Yeah, and you had opportunity. We talked about this before. You had an opportunity to do Chico, Corrales, and somebody said, yeah, Castillo.
Yeah.
And that fighter, both guys were hurt a lot. Like, had you before the final stoppage, was there ever a point in that fight that you were going to stop it before that happened?
Well, when you look at that fight, it was a tough fight. Both fighters were taking equal amount of punishment. It wasn't a one-sided fight. The only difference is that Costello, Corrales, his eye was starting to close. And when he went down the first time, when you look at it, he still has his faculties with him. He's looking at me, he's focused, and he gets up. And of course, to deal with the mouthpiece thing. The second time when he went down, it was like a continuation from the first one. He wasn't staggering all over the place. He was still focused on me and stuff. But yeah, after the second knockdown, I was leaning towards, okay, I might have to stop this fight. And of course, we see the dramatic turnaround that Corrales had, and I went from looking at Corrales and possibly stopping it, and then going and stopping the fight against Castillo, because Castillo, he was pretty much out leaning up against the ropes.
Yeah, he was kind of wasn't Corrales spitting out his mouthpiece a couple of times or something like that.
The first time, I didn't see. The second time, okay, now. This is no coincidence, so the only thing I could do at that point was take a point away, which I did, and hurry up and went over to the corner to give it to the trainer, Joe Goose. And of course, Joe Goose, being an old school trainer, he's going to stall a little bit, and but you could always debate that, but it never can take away from the traumatic ending that fight had.
Absolutely. Big game.
Yeah, I just want to ask you about, when you're in that ring, when do you know when to kind of have the feel of, okay, this guy, he might be going, I'm going to stop this fight? Because I know a lot of people jump out there, oh, he stopped the fight too early. He called the fight too early. Why didn't he let him box? When do you kind of feel, do you kind of look at the boxer and the way he fights and say, well, this is the way I'm going to kind of go at this? Kind of, how is your perspective about that?
Well, first of all, fans, they're not trained like we are to see and understand what's happening in that ring or what's happening with a particular fighter. And they bear no responsibility of what happens in that ring. We do. Having said that, I look at a fighter, his demeanor. Is he focused? Does he have anything on his punches? Is he taking too much punishment? Can he protect himself? Can he effectively fight back? These are all the things that you look at as the contest goes on, and a lot of times it can happen like that. And we have to jump in there. Do we stop fights sometimes too early? Yes, maybe, but it's better than too early than too late.
Right, definitely.
Yeah, so back to the Boxing Hall of Fame. Was there who probably, and I can ask you this, I feel like I can ask you this. Who was probably your favorite fighter that got inducted in these three classes, since it was something that was never done before? A lot of guys that I grew up watching, Bernard, a lot of my favorite fighters. Which one of them was your favorite?
Well, you know what? I really can't comment on that because a lot of those guys are still in the game in terms of being promoters or part of the game. True. But, like I say, I'm really proud of all those guys, and all those and ladies deserve to be inducted into Hall of Fame, because like I say, those fighters, they put everything in the ring. They leave everything in the ring. And they deserve all the accolades that they receive.
Gotcha. So I have a fan question that asks, can you ask how does he get a signed fight? So yeah, that is a very good question. I was wondering that because I know that they get to it comes down to the promotional, maybe it comes down to the fighters in the camps and they get to choose the fighters. But can you kind of briefly talk about that?
Well, if I'm having a fight here in Las Vegas, the commission assigns you, and they have a meeting and they poll. They may select 3 referees and give them out to the various camps and say, which one do you like? And it's not necessary that they will get who they pick, but ultimately the commission selects who does what fight. But if you're doing a fight out of the country with one of the particular sanctioned bodies, like I'm a member of the IBF, WBO, and WBA, then they decide. They say, we want so and so to do this fight in Germany or Japan or whatever.
Gotcha. Big Game, you got anything?
Yeah, I mean, just kind of bouncing off that. So, as far as when they say who is picking the ref, like, how do you kind of build up your kind of, let's say, portfolio resume as you're calling fights? Where, like, maybe the commission says, "Well, we're having these top fights. We want to have this particular person out there." What really gets you in there as far as like when they have refs with football, refs with basketball, they choose these type of refs for the finals and things of that nature. How do they go about it with the boxing?
Well, you can have, like, for example, if the commission understands and knows that they're getting ready to have a tough fight,
Mhm.
they know certain referees can handle tough fights.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, your performance always has an input on whether you're selected or not, for a particular fight.
Okay. Now you got to do Ali Frazier fight, correct?
No, 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 no. That's way before my time.
Okay. My bad.
I
I
wish.
didn't know. But I'm saying, okay, so you did some Floyd Mayweather fights, right?
Hmm.
So I mean, 50-0, undefeated. Is he one of pound per pound? One of your? Oh, you just said that you can't really say it, but it's hard not to ask that because there's
Well,
these so many these.
listen, he's definitely up there, amongst the greats. That's no question, no question about it. And had a phenomenal career, 50 and 0. You can't beat that. He was a box office draw. All those things that make a great fighter. He was definitely up there.
Your thoughts on Roy Jones Jr.?
Roy, hey, Roy in his heyday, definitely untouchable, definitely a very unique fighter. I got to referee Roy one time when he had the rematch with Bernard Hopkins, but no, he's one of those special guys, one of those special fighters, and very entertaining, and yeah, well deserved.
Yeah, I'm about to say he's in the music too, man. Maybe y'all can collab because I know you in the singing group, right?
Yeah, you must have forgot. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Actually, yeah, Roy did a little song, for his induction speak. Yeah, but no, yeah, there's one thing about boxing. Boxing is seen around the world, and there's so many things that can spin off from that. Because you're literally being introduced to the world, and if you have other talents in other fields, you can really, boxing can really help you bounce off of that, and because it really puts you on a world platform.
I got a question for you, and you might not be able to answer, but blink twice if the answer is yes. Creed 3. Are you casting Creed 3?
I'm in Creed 3. Yeah, I'm in Creed 3.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I'm in Creed 3. I mean, I can't talk about the movie, but I'm in Creed 3. But I will say this about the movie: the fight scenes were very, very real, and
Nice.
you're gonna be surprised. Very, very real. Yeah.
Okay. Are there any? I know you can't talk about it, but are there any current fighters in there in the movie?
Well, I was just in my scene, so I couldn't tell you who, if they cast anyone else in the movie, but no, I was just there for my scene.
Okay, gotcha. I had to ask a question because when I saw Andre Ward in the first one and in the second one, man, Andre Ward, who just got inducted into the Hall of Fame, man, that meant the world to me. You know what I mean? Because everybody knows Andre Ward. What he didn't get his just due as far as how great he really was, and it's great to see him in the Hall of Fame, but also to see him on that big stage in that movie as well. So I'm glad to see that you are in Creed 3. I had to ask that. I don't know if you was going to ask that.
Nice. Big game. I mean, I'm excited to watch it even more now because I'm gonna be like, hey, I was on the show with him. You know what I'm saying? I'm being a
Yeah.
fan for real. I'll be like, yeah.
You know, actually, that was the first time I stepped in the ring after my surgery on my knee. You know, and I was a little bit nervous about that. You know, I mean, I felt it a little bit, but there was nothing that hampered me from doing the movie. But yeah, so I've been blessed, man, to really, you know, this is my this is actually my third movie that I've been in, and I've done a commercial, and you know, so I've been really blessed to do a lot of other things, like I say, because boxing really puts you on the world stage, and a lot of times people see you or hear your name, and you become synonymous with the event.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to tell boxing story without you. And then a lot of
Right.
the classic fight, like I said, in my eyes, you're the most famous referee of all time. We know Richard Steele, the Hall of Fame. We know Mills Lane. We know that he was famous as well. But when we think about boxing, we think about refereeing. We think about you, man, especially my generation. You know,
Well,
so
yeah, yeah,
so
you know, thank
definitely.
you. Yeah, and I appreciate that. You know, but you know, it wouldn't be no me without those guys paving the way. And
Absolutely.
you know, Richard Steele is one of my mentors. You know, I grew up watching Richard. I grew up, you know, watching Larry Hazard out of Jersey. Very knowledgeable, probably the most knowledgeable referee out there. You know, Zach Clayton. This is going way back. You know, Arthur Mercanti Sr., you know, when I noticed him when he did the first Ali Frazier fight. Yeah, Mills Lane, of course, you know, Richard Green, a lot of those great referees who really showed me, you know, how to do it, you know, when I got into it.
All right, got you. Big game. So we got one more question, man. Then we're gonna wrap it up because then we got one more because you know 11 o'clock is coming up. My God, I know. Just make sure it's one good question, man.
Well,
We could
I
be here
mean,
all
I
night.
think this is good. I think this is good. I mean, out of all the weight classes, which is your own personal favorite?
Mm.
You really, you know, really, I I can't really say I have a favorite. You know, they're all unique in their ways. You
None
know,
of them really excite you like, ooh wee.
well, you know, the heavyweights, you know, that's you know that you know that is that's always been top of the line. You know, when you're doing a big heavyweight championship fight and stuff. You know, I mean, the smaller guys, you know, they move quick. They're in there quick. The big guys, you know, they really lean on each other. You really have to have the strength to pull apart and work with those guys. You know, yeah.
You kind of freezing up a little bit.
Vision.
We freeze up a little bit. You there, big game?
I'm still here.
Okay. I think he might have froze up a little bit.
Can you
Look,
see me?
Yeah, we hear you. See?
we can hear you. Dang, man, you broke. Look, with your question, you done froze him up, man.
I had him thinking on that one, like, all right, well, you know, big guys, you gotta do it like this. Smaller guys, they quicker, faster, you gotta be quick. I can only imagine splitting up them big dudes like Tyson. If you were doing a Tyson, or even if you were doing Fury and those guys, I can only imagine trying to pull those big dudes apart, man. You gotta really have some strength to do that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Shoot. Dang, I had one more question. My question was gonna be if there was a fight that you wish you could have done, and then the next question was gonna be like a follow-up. Is there a fight that you really want? And you know which one I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, come on. And I tried because I told him, I said, you don't get geeked up for no fights. He's like, nah, they all the same. You sure?
Yeah.
You sure? Are you sure? Because you get one of them. Oh, come on. We know what we talking about. You ain't gonna get geeked up about that. Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
You got to.
Yeah, no bull. Because look, the fight that I want him to do is the fight that everybody wants to see. I want him to do that Spence and Crawford fight, because the one thing that I do know about Mr. Tony Weeks,
he'll let him box.
Yeah, and you know, Errol likes to get inside a little bit, and you know, I mean, they're gonna be fighting, elbows to elbows, chest to chest a little bit. Like, I mean, some of Floyd's roughest fights, Cotto Maidana, was refereed by Tony Weeks. So, those are some of his classics too. Those are some of Floyd's best fights. You know what I'm saying? Ever. Okay, here we go. Hopefully it works now. He got back in because I gotta ask him that question. Come on. Oh man, it's not trying to let us be great right now. Are you there, Mr. Weeks? Oh man, I'm gonna have to cut it short anyway because my phone is dying. But yeah, I mean, we might have to continue this for another day because I felt like we could have gone all night, man.
Yeah, we could have. We that's all right. We're gonna do a part 2. This was part 1. We was, what I'm saying, Murphy Law all out there today, but that's all good. We're gonna do part 2 and get it in and make it happen. And I want to talk about that basketball thing because I want to talk about Steph Curry.
Yeah. Hey, look, we can do part 2 next week. I'll make sure that I have everything right, and we gonna get this thing moving. But I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Smash the likes. Appreciate you, Jaws. It definitely was a great interview. Man, I felt like we were just getting it going, but I was just like, yo, I have to cut it short. We'll be here all night.
Right.
But yeah, but I asked you before you go, man, because I know you were a little nervous at first, but like after seeing, because this happened to me the first time, you see him, you just like that, like, and then you got over it pretty fast, man. Like, how nervous were you when you was asking that first question?
I was nervous as hell. I was tongue-tied, twist. I was trying to, I had asked these questions in my head like 100 times already. So, but then when you actually have them right here, you're like, all right, I had to just admit it on TV, like, all right, hey, look, I'm nervous. I just said bumping. I'm just admitting, look, I'm nervous. Hey, it is what it is.
Can you hear me?
Okay, we got him back.
There we go.
Okay.
He got to get his question in.
Yeah, I got to get my question in before my phone dies. All right. So, if there was a fight in history that while you were reffing, is there a fight that you wish you could have reffed? And is there a fight right now that's current that you see that you really want?
Well, I don't want to speak about anything current because I want them regardless of whatever, But a fight of the past, the first Ali Frazier fight, won an event. I was a young boy coming up, but to this day, I've never felt the excitement and anticipation of a championship fight like that one. Madison Square Garden, March 8th, 1971. You had the majority of the crowd there were celebrities, it was just an event where the world stopped to watch. You had countries at war, and they put the war on hold just to watch this fight.
Gotcha. All right, cool. Well, I appreciate you. I really appreciate it. Where can the people find you on social media? I mean, I know how I found you, but do you have a Twitter or Instagram?
Right now, I'm just on Facebook, and I'm about to get on Instagram. And if you go on my page, you seen that the iconic photo of me with the bloody shirt.
Yeah. But you gotta get on Instagram with that bloody shirt, man.
Yeah, and we made an NFT with that. So if you go on my page, you'll see me with it's a hoodie, if you guys would like a nice hoodie, you can support my business, and we're trying to do it.
Oh, definitely, man, definitely. You can shoot me that information in the inbox as well, and I definitely will. Look, okay. I definitely support the people that I know that are doing things. So yeah, I'm all over it.
Thank you.
All right, Big Game. Where can the people find you? Most of the people know already, but you go ahead and let everybody know where they can find you.
Oh, just just type in the Big Game James. You can find me on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. It's just the name right there. We talk Cowboys football. We also do high school athletes. Go check out those interviews. I'm working with a lot of young athletes, young men out there with football, but I'm open to all sports. But yeah, definitely go check those out. We're here to open up the doors for the youth, get them more exposure, give them a platform and a voice. So definitely check that out as well. And we're just trying to have some fun on the show, man. Just keep on trying to do the grind, man.
That's good.
Yes, and appreciate everybody for tuning in, man. We gotta call it quits. Appreciate everybody. Love you all. We out. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.